This is the brain research portion of this presentation. And to understand universal design for learning, we have to kind of look at where, not only the historical perspective of where it came from, but how it actually applies to us as human beings and organisms that learn. So the developers of universal design for learning went back and actually began taking a look at our brains and found that through digital imaging, they were to find different neural networks that function while learning, and they showed brain activity in 3 different types of regions in our brain while we learn. Areas that affect the affect portion, the strategical network, the way we process things strategically, and even the way we recognize sensory information and make connections with it in other parts of our brain. So these networks, and I'm going to get into these networks more in the next level of presentation, but they came through brain research. Now, our brains are very nice because they're in sync, and they actually work, these networks work in a very coordinated fashion. The information is distributed laterally. For instance, the way we can process both color and shape and smell all at the same time. It's also distributed hierarchically. In other words, from top to bottom and from bottom to top, especially when it comes to sensory data, that it can take low-level sensory data and high-level sensory data and process it all at the same time through all areas of the brain and not just in one chunking piece at a time. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean we all work exactly the same? Absolutely not. We see individual differences in everyday life of every individual. And what it also means for us is that we learn differently, okay? Because our brain, even though the processes are similar, the way the brain works for different people function in different ways. For instance, someone with a learning disability may have problems in processing one of these regions, or a person who is hyperactive may process things a little bit differently and see sensory work and need that extra sensory new items coming constantly. Or where you might see someone who with autism who needs that constant unchanging environment. And it's all because of the way their brain is reacting and processing information. And it's important that there are key elements of brain research through the way we network information that lead us into our style of learning. And as educators, as administrators, when we're developing lesson plans, it's key to understand that when we're making these changes in our curricula, that we address and know that there's a physiological aspect to what we're teaching and how we're delivering these material, and a physiological aspect to how students are taking in and processing and learning this material. Thank you.